Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Dr. Kay Fontana joining us here live once again from beautiful Sun City, Arizona. She's the founder and life force coach from Healing Our Grieving Hearts. And yes, she's helping those out there worldwide with the grieving process. And Dr. Kay, very compassionate and dedicated her life to helping so many as a grief recovery specialist. So welcome back to the show today. How are you?
I'm great, Jill. Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, thanks for being here. Would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners to start?
Well, sure. Yes, I'm Kay Fontana. I have been a life force coach. I've been a life coach for, about 18 years or so, and a grief recovery specialist and licensed spiritual practitioner for 10 years. And I embarked on this journey of grief about 10 years ago, but after my husband died last year, I reinvented myself and felt the need to really get this message out to other people who are grieving, because everybody's a griever. Yes. You know, everybody's grieving something.
Yep. And again, it's not just loss of a person, it's loss of a job, loss of oneself, it could be a lot of things. And I just want people to contact you, healingourgrievinghearts.com. That's healingourgrievinghearts.com. And, your backstory, for new listeners out there, could you just share a little bit about your loss that kind of, brought you here? But you've kind of already been in the business for a long time. You've always wanted to help people.
I had been doing it for a while. As I stumbled on grief work when I was going through my practitioner training through the Centers for Spiritual Living. And we were required to focus on a module on grief. Mm-hmm. And I just felt compelled to make that my purpose. I mean, I really felt connected to grief work. And then when my husband was ill, he had a lot of health problems. When he was ill and I ended up being his caregiver, then I kind of stepped away from grief work for a while because I needed to take care of him. And then he passed away January of 2023. And probably about 6 months, and I thought, never in my wildest dreams would I ever return to grief work. But about 6 months later, I was really inspired and called to do so. So that's when that's when Healing Our Grieving Hearts was born. And my mission is to help people going through the grieving process and really give them some hope that it's not, it's because you've lost a loved one. I primarily focus on women who have lost their spouses or soulmates. But it's not over, and so there are so many things that you can do to get yourself through this and find your own purpose and passion again.
And that's what you're here helping so many of us with today. And for today's conversation, where did you want to begin about grieving, about loss, about, hey, this time of year, it's a little bit difficult for, I think, a lot of us with loss around the holidays.
It is.
Melancholy feeling. Yeah,
exactly. And holidays are so challenging. Any kind of, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, all of those are very challenging for people going through them. And, one thing I'd like to focus on today is how to honor your loved one, even after the funeral or the celebration of life or whatever event that you had for your loved one. It doesn't stop there. There's ways of continuing their legacy and honoring them afterwards. And so there's really so many ways that you can do that. One way that I've done several of them actually for my husband, but creating a memorial table or altar and, just to honor them and have have pictures together, have pictures together. I have my husband's urn, I attempted a couple times to scatter his ashes, but it didn't work out due to weather or people.
I know, right? Yeah.
but I have his urn there. Also, my dog's urn next to him. But, creating an altar that just, honors them. And, you can put pictures, you can put mementos of, maybe of about their hobbies or interests, or just, photos together. And, and also I have a digital picture frame that stores 500 pictures. And so you just upload them from your phone and it just scrolls through. You can set the timer, how often you want them to change. And, it's a good way just to, look at photos and remind you of them. And some people
so funny. I just heard a commercial for Legacy this morning. Legacy Box, if you have old photos, old VHS tapes, to put together on a reel. And I was thinking about doing that. My mom has so much stuff, and I'm like,
oh wow,
that's called Legacy. It's a special going on legacy.com or something, and you put everything in the box, you ship it to them, and they put it to DVD, to music, whatever you want. So I was just thinking about
absolutely.
That. That's I think
it's
funny.
A fabulous way to do that. I put a video together for my husband's celebration of life that I still watch periodically, but it's 14 minutes of photos from his early childhood through the 40 years that we had together. And then I put it to music, and some of the songs that really were meaningful to us and also meaningful to the situation. But it's a great way. If you don't do it yourself, there's other people that can do it for you.
Oh, amazing. It's so true. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I interjected with my legacy.
No,
I forgot what you were saying.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a fabulous way. Like I said, if you don't have, you're not comfortable with the technology to do it, then there's places out there that can do it. There's also websites that will do that you can upload pictures and then send links to family and friends. And I did that for my husband too. And I, off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the organization that does it, but it's a really great way to share photos and, memorialize them through there, or even memorialize if you're like a legacy person on Facebook, you can memorialize their Facebook page too. And then share stories. So there's so many things that you can do. Scrapbooking or putting together a memory book, you said through Legacy. That's another way, either the video or the scrapbook. I kind of got a jump start on my husband's scrapbook because I created one for his 50th birthday. Yeah. And I put together pictures from, again, his childhood, the same pictures that I put in his video, but through his childhood and through our 40 years to, well, actually it wasn't 40 years then, but putting together all the family pictures and everything. And I gave it to him for his 50th birthday, and he loved it. And then after he passed, I just updated it. I added new family members that weren't in there, like grandchildren, our dog. And so I have that and put a new cover on it. The other one was a little tattered. But, that's something to hang on to that you can always refer to and, refer to the special, vacations or special days and birthdays and holidays and things like that.
Oh, I love this.
So, and, there's also writing letters to your loved one. I would say for several months. I didn't start right away. I didn't start until after his celebration of life, which was a month after he died, because we had to wait for family members to come in. And also I was working really hard on that video. So that was really time consuming. But after that, I thought, oh, now what? And so I started writing letters to him. and I got a journal, and every day for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 months or so, I wrote to him and just told him about my day. Oh, guess what? Guess what happened today? And it was in some way, like having a conversation with him.
Wow.
Just telling him about my day when I got home, and and people had mentioned to me, because when I told them I was doing that, they thought, well, that's kind of odd. And I go, well, not really.
Yeah, right.
It's just a way to continue on my conversations with them. And that really helped me with the healing process, because I felt like I was, talking to him, even though I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
So, there's, you can also plant a tree in their memory.
Yeah.
There's the Arbor Day Foundation. I think it's like $10. You can plant a tree in their memory. You can plant as many trees as you want to, but I think one of them is $10.
Oh, that's always a good idea.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people also donate to, if they lost someone like from cancer, they donate to charities around this time of year.
Exactly.
I like that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. The Alzheimer's Foundation, Cancer Society, any organization that that represents, whatever illness that they had, that's a great way to honor them. You can also, do the annual runs for, like Cancer Run or Alzheimer's Run. They do every year, usually in major cities, they do the charity walks or charity runs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a great way to do that. You can also host a fundraiser.
That's another good one. Yeah. And there's a lot of even and not to even, it's great to do in person, but there's also the online community of the GoFundMe pages and stuff like that. But
exactly.
I like the personal in-person type of stuff too, which we don't do as much anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can volunteer. Volunteering is a tremendous way to honor someone. If you're, like for a charitable organization, if let's say your loved one died of cancer, then, there's multiple ways you can donate. You can volunteer for the organization. You can do the annual fundraising walk, or, there's, and just, helping out. There's different ways that you can work with a charitable organization that really is meaningful to you or to your loved one.
Wow.
So, or just, donating money or time are great ways. Some organizations and parks and like ball fields or sports arenas, they offer the opportunity to purchase a memorial brick or a stone or something like that. I know our Arizona Diamondbacks ball field has stones, bricks at in their outside, on the outside.
Yes, and the library has that too, and also the church. Yes.
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 And so that's a great way to do it too. And that's that's one thing that I still want to do is do a brick. And I hadn't even thought about it until just now.
See?
But
that's great. I'm glad we're helping each other here.
Yeah, exactly. But I would love to do that because we were together when the Diamondback, we were actually in Washington at the time, but when the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series. And so that was a really special evening and, something that I could, purchase a memorial brick to I'm hoping that they still do that. I'm going to have to look at
out, right? Sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love it. Well, at this time, let's just remind everyone how we can contact you, please.
Sure. So my website is www.healingourgrievinghearts.com. kay@healingourgrievinghearts.com. And you can email me at kay@healingourgrievinghearts.com. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/kay.fontana. So that's F as in Frank, Fontana, just like Fontana, California.
Got it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And is there a cheese, Fontana cheese, or am I just thinking out of the box? I don't.
There's a Fontina cheese.
All right, something like that. See,
well,
okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, what else in particular around this time of year, especially, do you think, what can we do at home each and every day just to get through? Because it's hard when you're grieving something. A lot of us want to curl up, stay in the blankets underneath the, watch
Right.
TV. But, how do we get that
Right.
motivation to get up, to get out?
Exactly. And I think if you, people like to revisit old traditions, and some people like to create their own. And sometimes creating their own traditions, whether it be with family or friends, is a helpful way to get through, especially the holidays. I also like to, continue other traditions, that we had together, like making a special meal
Yes.
for special days, holidays, anniversaries, birthdays. That was always something, we had a favorite meal that we would share in the morning. So I think that, I still do that, and I probably will continue to do that for a while, because it's something that I actually know how to make.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And, and I think, like, my husband was a tremendous cook. Oh my gosh, he was the best. And something that I would also like to do is put together his recipe. He never followed a recipe, but he wrote a couple of them down, because he submitted them to, like, our local, like our fire department cookbook and a couple others. So I do have copies of those, but I want to put together a cookbook of his favorite recipes. And I think that's a great, and give it to the family.
Oh, my goodness, that's beautiful. The man I've been dating for a while, I call him boyfriend or man I date, right? But he has a recipe book on his counter that his sister made for him a few years ago. She lives in Arizona, and I see it every time I go into the house, and it's on the kitchen. Mom's recipe book, and it's handwritten with the staple, but like the sister made that for him, and he used it to cook his sauce, his chicken, his fish, all that stuff. So I think that's
amazing. That's awesome.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
That is awesome. That's
good idea.
That's a great way. Recipes. I know my mom had, oh my gosh, we have so many recipes, and I have them tucked away. I haven't put them into a book yet, because they're scattered among all the boxes of things that my sister and I had to go through when both of our parents passed. But and there's one recipe that I was actually hoping to find, but I can't. So, but that would be a great way to honor my mom too.
Oh, love it.
She had some amazing recipes from the family, from her parents.
So
So
love it.
yeah. But there's, oh my gosh, there are just endless ways that you can honor someone. And and I think it's really important to do that, because it aids in the healing process. When you do something special in remembrance of your loved one, then it really is a special time. I can't remember if I mentioned, but last Sunday at my church, I held a ceremony of remembrance for loved ones in our community that had passed. And so they sent me pictures, and then I put it to music, just like I did for my husband's. But it was all, people from loved ones of members of our community, or members of our community that had passed. So people loved it, and it's really a comforting way to honor people, and just, celebrate them together. And, so a lot organizations like hospice organizations,
Yeah.
they will do that every year around the holidays, and you can send, and they don't even have to be, associated with that hospice agency. You can send in photos and a little, information, their name and date of birth or date of death or something. And they put together a memorial event for people in the community. So it's something that happens, quite often and in various places.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And also, for those of you out there listening, I mean, you work with men and women, but mostly women, right? Come to you,
Yes.
would you say? Right?
Yes.
I just feel like we're a little more open to, I don't know, grieving. How do the men handle it then? I feel bad if they're not reaching out. They're a little more, not all, but, right? The majority of them are a little.
Right. And they, and I think that it's really challenging for men to open up about that stuff. And although some may not have a problem with that, but I find that women are more eager to seek out help and get through the process, because I think they're more open and receptive to not only the help, but also the ability to communicate, what they're going through. Men kind of stuff it a bit, they don't want to be vulnerable to things like that. And I don't want to generalize men, but I don't have, typically in my groups, I don't have men in there. They're mainly women.
Now, do you also use energy healing to help people with grief?
I do. I use sound and vibration healing, Qigong, and Reiki. So, and I combined Reiki with also vibration healing with tuning forks and drums and Himalayan bowls. So it's just a really relaxing way to kind of open up those channels. And because when we stuff our grief and when there isn't any place for it to go, we hold it in, and it affects our body. It affects not only our mental health, but our physical health too. And, we get tired, fatigued, stressed, and it just needs a way of getting out. And so by opening those channels with energy healing, it really helps in the healing process. So I really encourage people to do that.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. And do you have any upcoming events, anything you're speaking at, anything happening, around the new year? This is the holidays, but what's next for you? Also, you're podcasting, so tell us.
Yes, I'm podcasting the Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast. You can find on every, podcast channel. Also, I'm doing a sound bath, a sound healing bath meditation. The the fourth Sunday of this month. So the Sunday before Christmas. And I'm working on a program for women, and it's geared toward finding purpose and passion after loss. So I'm about ready to wrap that one up and release that. But it's been a joy to put it together, because I really anchor in my own experiences with grief, losing my husband, because my husband was the absolute worst loss that I've ever experienced in my life. And, even over my parents and other family members that I've had, but it was, spending 40 years with him, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. And I still cry. I'm not immune to crying.
Exactly.
I am not immune to crying, but I've have a lot of tools. I have access to a lot of tools that I use to help me through it.
Yep. My mom-in-law, I lost her, oh my gosh, 7.5 years ago now. Still, I look at
Still.
her picture every day, and then during the day, or I'm in the shower and it hits me, and I'm in the car and a song goes on. I'm like,
Exactly. And the grief never goes away. It just gets better to, work through. You embrace that grief and you go through it you work through it. But it never goes away. You'll never stop loving your loved one. You'll never stop missing them.
That's okay.
That will never happen. It's, and I think people sometimes feel like if they're to heal their grief, like go through the grief recovery method, that they will not, that it's like they're forgetting their loved one. It's like, you'll never forget your loved one. And it doesn't have anything to do with forgetting them or moving on. It is a way to embrace the grief and get through it and continue your life. So
Thank you. We still got 2 minutes left. How did you want to kind of end off about everything that we talked about today? And of course, the upcoming holiday.
Well, with the holidays, it's so difficult. Don't do it alone.
Yes.
Reach out to someone, whether it's, a therapist, a coach, your clergy, reach out to somebody and connect, or a trusted friend or family member. Don't do it alone. Don't be in isolation. And, it's okay to be alone part of the time, but don't go through the holidays completely alone and isolated. And reach out. If you're having a really challenging time, reach out to somebody. That's so important.
And that's why you're here and available, right? Are you get a lot of as a coach, are you on a personal level with your clients? Are they reaching out to you more during the holiday? I don't know, how that works.
They do. It's like, what I'm having a hard time. What can I do? Others, I had a client that actually decided she wanted to put together an event for people in the community who didn't have any place to go for the holidays. So she wants to do that. It was like, that's beautiful. I love that.
I like that too.
So, but you can reach me at healingourgrievinghearts.com. You can also sign up for a complimentary grief breakthrough session. It's 30 minutes, completely free, where we just talk about your grief and see if, what would be the best option for you if you're having a really difficult time.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, we appreciate you being here and joining us. And one more time, how do we contact you?
HealingOurGrievingHearts.com. And you can reach me. You can email me at k@HealingOurGrievingHearts.com. You can listen to my podcast, Healing Our Grieving Hearts podcast, on all podcast platforms. And you can reach me on Facebook at facebook.com/k.fontana.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here and looking forward to next time we connect. And thank you for doing so much to help all of us in need. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education
and to finish what I started to get my diploma.
Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.